I like drifting because, unlike a lot of different forms of racing, there's a lot of style to it. You know, you have a lot of, time attack people, rally people, and it's all crazy, it's all cool, but for something, with me at least, drifting, it's like something kind of just ticked. I was like, that's sick. Just import cars, the style, how low these cars are, people care more about style sometimes with drifting than they do, function, and I think that's where, like, a lot of the fun is, when people actually put a lot of effort and, work into their vehicle and not just, oh, okay, here's some good, suspension and good tire setup, alright, I'm gonna go slide and get crazy. For me, seeing a car on the track that has a lot of style and is really good looking is better than seeing something that's built and just made for racing. Because it kind of like throws back to like that 90s style vibe where it was like, oh, back in the day, style was everything. I don't care about how well I perform. I don't care if my steering rack binds up. It's just I want my style to be more than my car.
There's a lot of different styles of cars, and everyone likes what they like. There's like drag cars, race cars, drift cars, street cars, show cars. There's everything out there. And whatever you want to build, whatever makes you happy, that's great. For me, it's street cars, drift cars. That's pretty much it. That's what I want to build this car to be, a street car / a drift car. Something I can take to the track, but also drive around on the streets too, have some fun with it. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do with a car. Slam it, stretch your tires, and a lot of people will look at that and they'll be like, has no function. Why is your car so low? Your tires don't fit your wheels, and but it's preference. Some people love that, some people hate that. Some people love giant slicks on the back of a car, as others don't. It's all just preference, and whatever you want to do with your car, as long as you're happy with your car, that's all that matters. And I think everyone out there in the car community should have respect for every other build. That's what's so great, I think, about cars, is you could build them however you want, be happy with them, drive it.
I belong to to hear, so I can catch my breath and step away, think about what to say to you. Why? Come on, good.
My car's a 1993 Miata. I've had it for about 2.5 years now, and I've been daily driving it since. I take it to work, school, and overall I felt like I've built a personal connection to this car. Some people can say it's close to like forming a relationship with someone, as a friend or maybe a significant other. When you drive this thing day in, day out, you learn new things about it, you hear new things, and it teaches you new things. And coming out here, it's definitely taught me a bunch of stuff, how to be careful and how to watch for the road. For the most part, my car's stock in a sense. I've done nothing to it motor-wise, but I have done suspension, rear upper control arms, which adjust the camber on the rear. I have a hard top, and then I also have a half cage, which is necessary for these cars. Since they're convertibles, they're very easy to roll over, and you want that rollover protection so that way you're not cracking your skull in case that does happen. but it's also called a roll bar, but for our car, a half cage. Then I have a bunch of safety equipment such as harnesses and bucket seats there to keep me strapped in for a little bit longer. I personally like driving more because it's obviously something that's close by me, something I can do regularly. I come up here pretty fucking often, so I could almost say daily, nightly, because I usually find myself up here at night. But in a sense, drifting is more what I like to watch, more what I aspire to like get to, because obviously my car is not prepped just yet. But working my way into that, working my way into that stage is where I want to be at. So, and that's pretty much where I want to get my car to, because to me the drifting community is something amazing, because drifting it brings together a bunch of people, who have mild straight backgrounds, going out hitting warehouses, and then here you see them trying to move up into the track game, and they're going out and they're having fun safely and with other people who share the same passion and mindset. Whereas like people who drive grip and whatnot in time attack, they kind of have like a bit of an ego, it's like, oh, they hold themselves on a high horse because they have a faster time than you. But whereas drifting is it's way more laid back and loose, and you can just have an all right better time with people. What I like so much about canyons, well, I guess it's just a readily available playing stage, I guess, where you can come up here anytime, any day, and pretty much just drive. That's pretty much what I do out here. I usually come out here just kind of like get a release of mind and get a little bit of stress off my shoulders and chest, because life's hard. Stuff happens, and and you need a little bit of escape. Some other people find it through video games and whatnot, but I like to find it through driving. The first time I got exposed to this was maybe 5-6 years ago. Come up here in a friend's little Civic hatchback, sitting in the back seat with like 6 people in the car, coming up here just blasting through it, and then just hitting dips, and everyone's just having a great time. It's just stuff like that makes this thing a little bit more worth it. The risks are pretty high, of course, but looking past that, if you learn how to be safe and learn how to drive properly, you find a really good scapegoat from life.
What got me into cars it was about end of junior year. I had a coworker. He had a Miata, and he's took me after work one day to go do some donuts. And I liked cars kind of beforehand, and for me at least, it was more just like, okay, maybe this will be fun. And he took me to go do donuts and drifting for the first time, and that's what really sparked my interest. And from there on, I really wanted a Miata. I really liked the car, and I saved up a lot of money from work, and I eventually got the car. And that was like my starting ground into drifting, and that was the car I kind of worked on and first learned on, how to work on cars, because I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to pull a motor, I didn't know how to pull a transmission. I didn't even know what the difference between, an engine and a transmission was. It was all really confusing to me. And that car was the car that really got me to understand how everything worked and how to understand everything. Drifted that car for about 2.5 years. Gained some skill, not a lot. And then when that car left, I ended up buying a 350Z. That car was so much fun. That was the car that I just had the most amount of fun in. Unfortunately, there was some serious problems with that car, and it was just too much money to fix. And I just ended up kind of tossing that project out the window and taking a loss. I currently own an E30 BMW from 1984 right now. That's just my get around to work and school and hang out with friends' car. And I'm currently working on a Nissan 240SX as my next drift car, which I'm stoked on. It's gonna be awesome. Getting into cars was never intentional. When I was a little kid, I didn't really do anything for me. I remember going to car shows with my dad or something. Everybody did. And there was always, you always saw cars on the road, and you're like, all right, well that's cool. That person gets around looking good. But it wasn't really until recently when I was just like a 15-year-old kid who didn't know anything and experiencing the drift scene. That's what really got me into cars. That's what really just made everything happen. I didn't care about anything else other than I just want to build cars. I just want to go fast. I just want to drift, and I just want to hang with the boys and just have a good time, because that's what cars is. It's a good time. Anytime I'm behind the wheel, I feel like I'm in control of what's going on, and I feel like there's not the stress in the world, and that's what really just got me into cars. It almost like relaxes you, for me at least.